Hello there. Good evening. Welcome to the program. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. Tonight, we dissect the shifting sands of Nigeria's political terrain as the People's Democratic Party, PDP, reels from a fresh wave of high-profile defections. At the heart of the storm is Ifeanyi Okowa, running mate to Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 presidential election, whose defection has rattled the opposition and sparked fresh doubts over the viability of the much-touted coalition agenda. As cracks widen and rival camps trade barbs, the ruling APC is seizing the moment, mocking the opposition's bid to regroup ahead of 2027 as a house divided. So, what's at stake as the political chessboard begins to reset ahead of the next general elections? Join us tonight to unpack these developments. I have with me Otumba Segun Sowunmi, a PDP chieftain, and Abdullahi Jalo is a stalwart of the APC. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Abdullahi. Good evening, citizens.
Let's start this way, Otumba. Clearly, a lot of people would say that you are representing the losing side, or at least the side that is slowly but surely losing some of its momentum, especially considering the star-studded defection that we've witnessed over the past 48 hours in Delta State. Your two cents on what this means for the PDP and Nigeria at large.
I know what it means for the individual, and that is that they have no character. They don't understand that democracy requires that the political parties are the first safeguards to democracy. For whatever does not translate into stability in political parties would eventually make it difficult for them to be able to go to the people and say, okay, this is what we have to offer. And also, to that extent, everybody who understands the build-up to democratic governance always desires stable parties. Now, if people are so conscienceless, they can come and ask you to give you their suffrage, which is their ticket. We can bring all of the members of the party and all of the energies behind their aspiration. They can win, even though they themselves have only one vote, and they can form government. We've created a culture of governors being the big boys of a political party. There's no issue in any party that is so big that the governor cannot think that it is his duty to try to figure out how to solve. If they shamefully do what they do, I'll just say, I know what it is for them. They have no character. They should be sorry for themselves. And that's why people, we apologize that we gave you such people. As for the political party, it's too early. Elections of 2027, I'm quite disappointed that it started so quickly. As I preferred, and I've always canvassed that we should have 2 years of work after an election, then we can do politics. Otherwise, we'll just be a nation of politics, and zero development. But if you are asking how will it impact us, the question I would just want to throw back to you is that when we gave Okowa the vice presidential slot of the PDP, and Obuabere was the governorship candidate, how many votes did they even produce for PDP in the presidential election? When it comes to the in-season, their governorship election, they will have to contend with long-standing APC men who would also have been thinking that they deserve to use the platform of their party to challenge. Let them go and do a primaries in APC in an environment where they can do a primaries in the morning, like they did in Edo State. Somebody can win, and the next day in the morning they can tell them to go and repeat it just to get a different answer. Where people don't go to court when they feel shortchanged, where whatever instruction is backed from above. These are men who are used to freedom, who have taken themselves into garrison. I could have saved them, even if they knew they were in jail.
You make it sound like they just made a deal with the devil. But in hindsight, do you think the choice of Okowa was a bad one, given where we are right now?
You see, his trajectory as a person, former senator, former governor, is not a bad one in that sense. Nobody will know how the outcome of an election will be until the election is cast and the votes are counted. In any case, if you don't have a free, fair, transparent, credible election, whatever you call the outcome, at best you'll take it with a pinch of salt. But with the benefit of hindsight, some of us were clairvoyant, because at that time we had said, he's not going to bring as much to the table as the man he was sidestepped for. That the man he was sidestepped for, which ironically is now the Minister of FCT, we kept saying He has a culture and a tradition of keeping his word. He has a culture of bravery when he wears the jersey of the PDP. He will not cow. He will not fall down. He will go it. He will see it all the way to the wire. But you know, the decision of who will be the running mate is as it is always with every party. It was the president who chose his own running mate. It's our candidate that chose the running mate. But alas, even after we lost the election in 2003, people like us have been pushing the party, supporting and all that. What has he been doing? He's just been muted. He's not been doing anything even to promote or support the party. He's not used his voice. His colleague, his age mate, his Peter Obi, after he lost the election, he's been jumping here, at least trying to show visibility. So if Okowa is gone, good riddance to bad rubbish.
Well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
That's how I feel. What is hard? You think them uprooting all of the structure of our party in the state overnight is good? Do you think that that kind of thing is the right thing you want to teach people as the character, the behavior of Democrats? You can leave. But when you do something as ugly as call everybody into a room, some of them you didn't even tell them what the intention was. You are the governor, you are the former this and that, and then you announce we are gone. Do you know how many of the people that were in that room now that are even regretting why they would even bring them into a room and make that pronouncement? But politics is politics now. By the time we start rebuilding, we'll know who is in and who is out. Thank goodness. I want to thank them for going on time, because that's how they would have sat in there, would have been planning an election, and they would have been doing anti-party.
Okay, Barrister, let's come over to you. Surely he is angry about all of these developments, or disappointed,
disappointed,
in the
more
least.
like it.
The traffic is heading your way. Your party is, the beneficiary of all of these defections, and it looks like your stock is going up as the ruling party. Give me your 2 cents about this one, because there have been concerns that Nigeria is well on its way to a likely one-party state, because APC is now becoming the dominant party across the 6 geopolitical zones. What do you make of it?
Well, with respect to the words and positions taken by Mr. Otumba, I became a bit jittery in the sense that, one, I could remember during the election of Muhammadu Buhari, there was a new PDP, and then the PDP men, which I was a party to that situation. One time, this issue of what Otumba has said came before our respectful chairman, Bamanga Tukuru. Is a Jalo, the defection of Konkoso, Goja, and the rest? So many people are saying it's rubbish. I say, sir, even a councillor who decides to leave your party is a loss, not to talk of a governor who has a structure. Now, a forward, if you can ask the vice president, vice president Atiku Abubakar, that how has he feel that Okowa has left? Certainly, Atiku say this is a great loss, because the amputation and the calculation of the votes, whereby the present president got about 8 million, and Atiku following him was 6 million.
6.9.
And then look at
same difference.
0.9
looking at how many votes Okowa brought from the south. To lose him is something that will make PDP to be sleepless. More so, this is somebody who is going with his governor, members of House Assembly, commissioners, the entire structure. And if you look at the scenario now, APC is not forcing anybody to come and join the party. It is the will of the people, but the people are calculating. Now, let's look at the South entirely.
But is that the whole truth? Pardon the interruption. Because Okowa is under EFCC investigation, and people are making the connection that there's a very good chance that this might buy him some time, or at least even possibly give him a clean slate, politically speaking.
It is not an issue of EFCC or otherwise. Hadi Sarika is not contesting anything. He has a case in EFCC and it's still going on. That is You don't bring an issue of somebody who has who is a suspect with issue of followership. This Okowa, I'm not coming from Delta, but incidentally, you know, I was posted to Delta. I've been posted to so many places to go and contact PDP, like when I was in PDP. So I know the scenario. Getting the entire South now to lose Delta as it is now, looking at how the terrain, people.
Go ahead, please.
People are making efforts to come and join APC. The entire South is now showing tilting to APC. Come to the North now. If you look at the North itself, Northwest, North Central, as fully in support of APC. So even if somebody can talk the way Otumba has spoken, really he has to defend his party, but the game it seems to be over. So many governors are going to come and join the APC before the end of the day.
What do you think is the attraction, if you have to answer that question?
Look at the attraction.
You're a party that is, if today there's available data to show approval ratings, one would easily say that your approval ratings would be abysmal because of the state of the economy. So why do you think these political figures are jumping the ship from PDP to join APC, a party that has caused quite the uneasy feeling across the country?
Look at it. The point is an issue of interest. People feel that it's better for them to come and play their efforts in APC, looking at how things are changing. There is no doubt the issue of fuel increase and then the economy. This is a global issue. It has affected the whole world. See what Trump is doing on the American economy. So, and we are not left behind. We are not in isolation. APC as a party under tinubu has to face the reality of the global crisis that is affecting the whole world. But in any case, in politics, you have to calculate. You don't stay where you go and become a loser. How the PDP crisis is now lingering the PDP. Nobody says it is a creation of anybody. It is the system, it is the followers that, yes, they are not satisfied with right when Wike was not made the vice president and Eko was speaking. No matter whatever it is, you can't tell me what PDP is all about, because I was there before, I know what it is. And now I'm a chieftain in APC. Certainly, the manners, how people are making their mind to come and join APC, it indicates that there is going to be a bright future for them. Right. And there is something that they will contribute to the development of the nation. Right. And then the arithmetics of what Tinubu is doing with the governors in place, certainly the future is going to be bright.
Okay. Alignments and realignments are not necessarily new in politics, Otumba. Your reaction to what he has said and the understanding of many that this is a self-inflicted wound by the PDP on itself, and it has only the PDP to hold responsible.
There are two layers to which I would like to have this, response. The first layer is that what is the idea of sustainable multi-party democracy? If you look at it, what we have found out is that even he is one of our products exported to them. And we have seen that it appears as if our history and our future and our past insists that we are going to be the university of democracy in Nigeria, where they come, they move, and sometimes, and even at that, we're here. That is what I would say for that. I do not agree with him that men and women too should not be able to explain to themselves and their children a good reason why they are leaving their party for another one. Why? Because it doesn't matter what the mass of the people, the rank and file, are saying. at the top echelon of an organization, former vice presidential, former senator, former 2 times governor and governor, you expect that they get the message that the differentiation between the PDP is we are a right of center party, pro-government, pro-business, pro-private sector, and what have you. Our rivals are a left of center party. They are supposed to be anyway, pro the people, big on education for the poor and all that. They have morphed so much that they don't even do that. They have become so pro-business to this, to that, at the expense of the things that the poor should get. There is now a big middle that we can see that they are not feeling it. The burden of whatever policies they say they are running, which, for your information, they have been running for the past 10 years, the 8 of Buhari plus the 2 of these ones. I understand their need to be at the table where the crumbs are being, given. And they can tell themselves all sort of fancy reason, but there is no reason why a governor would do that. Why? Because all the political parties in Nigeria have always operated on an idea that a first-time governor gets his ticket back. So nobody is threatening your re-election, except you have been so underperforming there that you now think that you need to go to another person's party to get numbers to shop. That's their business. It's their right constitutionally. So be gone. In terms of what could have been making them do that, look, I have looked deeply. Except parochial, tribal, ethnic divisive politics, there is nothing this government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing in terms of the economy, in terms of the livelihood of the people, in terms of security, in terms of international reputation, in terms of the indicators that let you understand that they know what they are up against, even in terms of availability on the job to sit down and do the work. Half the time you are searching for him. If they don't tell you he's gone to London, he's gone to France, he's gone to Sokoto, you will not see him in any serious-minded meeting in those places, indicating that he's doing anything other than, at best, on holiday, so not wanting to say more. So I can't see any reason. Less than 2 years into a tenure, people are behaving like this. But you know what? The Constitution allows for freedom of association, but it does not include that we will not call a bad behavior bad. I have always said to them, and I said to them even when they won in 2015, that APC, you have won now. Can you just grow this your party in an organic manner so that the coloration of your party can resemble your ideas? Now they have a mishmash. You look at who is best in charge of their Senate. It's characteristic and attitude PDP. You look for who is here, who is there. You look at them. You just find out that, okay, over the years, what is that thing that kept you in PDP that is taking you? If tomorrow morning and tomorrow will come, we run the next election. Contrary to their imagination that, oh, governors own all the sovereign. There are 2.9 million registered, collected PVC in Delta. Those 2.5 million votes, 2.9 million votes are the things that they are going to contend with. Yeah, and if we then win, let us have a register so that these ones that are jumping here, we can tell them, stay where you are and face the consequences of what you have chosen. But they are going to be contesting against the Nigerian people. The next election is not going to be them versus them. No. It's going to be whatever we are able to make of all these plans, including the ideas of conversation of coalition, bringing people in and doing all the way. And kudos to you, Atiku, for the effort under the PDP. We will tell the Nigerian people, how has your life been? And I can tell you for free so that he will remember, because it was part of us when we built that. We built the biggest economy in Africa. We built the biggest GDP in Africa until we handed over power to them in 2015. And between 2015 to date, we have become number 4. All the indicators are bad. Sometimes I am even the one showing up for national reputation, sometimes quarreling with my brothers, the obedient, that, oh, take it easy, don't let us demarket our country. It's not because they are wrong on data. It's just because I don't believe that as Nigerians, there shouldn't be some part of us that wishes to hold on to our own country so that we will not just be a people that go all over the world shaming ourselves. But who has brought the shame to us? Them, the APC.
All right. Some would say this is a classic own goal on the part of the PDP, and I noticed you didn't answer that question. You didn't answer that question.
Which question is that?
The internal wranglings that has pushed so many.
I've always told you, I've answered that before. Let me just use one line before you take all the other, you can have his time to talk. Don't ever assume that the political party is a garrison. Don't ever assume that when people have freedom of, exercising rights and privileges, including going to court, do you think it is even normal that you are comparing PDP as a political party with APC as a government, as if we are the one in government? Yet you cannot even compare PDP as a political party with APC as a garrison.
Yeah, but the point is...
What is the point?
The point is there's so much instability in the PDP that you can't blame anyone who decides to jump ship.
So you say.
No, so it is.
So you say. The reason why I say so you say.
Today, who is the national secretary of the PDP?
Sam Ayong.
According to
the Supreme Court, we don't need to be bandering around. You see, if it was your party, if it was their party, they finished an election. They did not call any meeting. The next thing we saw is that they've thrown away their national chairman, they've thrown away their secretary, they've thrown away everybody, and everybody has gone home to go and sleep as if they are
asleep. And they have moved on.
Yes, but you see, that which you are calling move on is civilian dictatorship. Is over-aiming and over-influencing of a process that is supposed to be free by the ideas of one individual. They did an election, a primaries in Edo. Ask him. The Adams of Shawele people did a primary, a governorship candidate in March. 2 or 3 days later, they came back and said, go and repeat it. And nobody went to court. Is that normal? If they like it, they should live with it.
Barrister, he is saying that you're no better than the PDP, that these people are only self-serving by jumping to the APC. And based on empirical data, the economy is not doing particularly well. So there is nothing on pen and paper that suggests that this move is one based on all the positive direction that usually come with some of these traffic, politically speaking. Talk to me about some of the incentives that may pull people in. The governors have spoken admirably about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it begged the question. He was making the point earlier about tribalism, about some of the sectional approach to governance and things like that. And the governors in the South, for instance, have alluded to how an alignment with Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the platform of the APC is only going to bring more development. Do you think your party is making development a partisan issue, and therefore if these governors want benefit to come to their state, the only way is to join the APC?
Well, he has risen a lot of issues as regards to their internal wranglings. This is a party whereby its chairman, board of trustee, Adolfo Obabara, was sacked or was dismissed by his ward. And then a very big person from Kano, he said, as far as PDP is concerned, there is no leadership for now. 3, you can see even the person they are glomerating him to become maybe among those that will contest the presidency is now neither in SDP nor in PDP.
Who's that?
You're talking about Atiku?
I think it's in PDP.
Atiku has spoken the day before yesterday. I saw it. He said there is going to be a new movement. And yesterday or today, I saw him with Bokola Saraki that they are going to.
Are you speculating, Barry?
No. All these are facts. They are in papers.
Yeah, but the last time we checked, he's still a member of the PDP.
Hold on. Right. The issue is, but you cannot divorce from the fact that he has been going to SDP for coalition with El-Rufai. It is a non-thing. And that is for that. So as far as I am concerned, I don't think PDP is existing. With the situation.
PDP is, what do you mean? You think PDP is dead?
I don't know. He will speak more about it. He knows the crisis.
Right.
And you cannot relent to say, you cannot doubt to say there are a lot of 100 and 1,000 cases in court. And we are approaching 2027. And then the crisis is becoming alarming every day. in any case, you have raised a very good question. Who is their national secretary?
I just
Which
answered.
he says, as far as what he has said,
The Supreme Court.
Nigeria,
And the
as far
convention.
as we are concerned, they have two national secretaries.
forbid, we have
they
one.
should go and solve their own problems. And coming to the economy, ask him whether I farm. At the time I farm, I got a lot of maize. And at that time, the price of the one bag is about 70 to 80. Now it's less than 30,000. Things are dropping drastically, and then the effort of this government should not be divorced.
You, with your
And
history,
look at it.
I have to interject here, Barrister. I have to interject, Barrister. I have to interject.
Okay.
If we have to juxtapose the PDP years and the APC years, we both know which one stands tall.
Look at it. The issue is that you don't compare in politics. The politics is dynamic, and then the life itself is dynamic. Every time things changes. I told you what I was buying maybe 10 naira before. Things have changed now.
How much are you buying it
Something
now?
So, but in any case, that is a situation. That is not to say it may not come down. And then from the time of 1960 to date, no president has purchased ammunition to dislodge the bandits like Muhammadu Buhari. And you know, the one cannot doubt that formally, you know it, I know it in our village, especially in the north. When we stay in the mosque, we have to be guided before we pray. But the coming of Buhari and coming of Tinubu, these things are not existing. This he is talking because he is a free person moving around. We are here. Immediately we will.
I'm sure you've been keeping up with the news.
Things have become.
You've seen what has happened.
Look at it.
And what continues to happen in Benue, in Plateau, in Kebbi, in Kwara.
Okay. Look, if it is the
We're
case,
still living with the insecurity.
Look at, you are talking about it. Look at Cote d'Ivoire, or one of the African countries, where 56 or 100 soldiers were killed. It is a global phenomenon. And then even the sophisticated countries see what is happening between Pakistan and India. So you can't divert that. But gradually, things have been changing drastically to the benefit of the nation. And we are winning. Even ISWAP now, they are saying they have planes, they are population, they are set in paper. All these things, with time, things will stabilize. But I know, and it is known to all of us, these things have started even during the period of our ex-president Jonathan, where about 2,000 people were killed in Kano at a go. I was there. I was in Kano.
2,000 people?
Many dead people were killed in the mosque.
You're talking about the bombings?
Yes. So you see, the issue is that one cannot blame Tinubu because he has the advantage of saying this and that. Let them go and manage their crisis first. Let the party
if you have to be objective, if you have to be objective and non-partisan, do you think it makes sense to take the mandate that belongs to one political party and move with it, especially in this particular manner where the entire structure itself is moving to another? Do you think it actually makes sense, or does that insult the sensitivity of the people? People who, by the way, have traditionally always voted PDP, especially in the Fourth Republic.
Look at it. The question is this. You see, I have earlier said, this crisis of PDP is not a creation of APC. It's their own entire problem.
Now, I'm coming. You had something to do
Look
with
at it. The question is this. Let them go and beg Wiki to please be part of their problem, because he is very important in the party. And then he is serving in our government now. And you cannot say Wiki is not important as far as PDP is concerned. Whatever is the situation,
Abdullahi,
this. Look at it. Don't be in a hurry. Whatever is the situation, we know there are problems.
Right.
And then I am even surprised Otumba has forgotten to see what his party is all about. People in the party, in fact, it is just the beginning. Okoa and then a Delta is just a thrown stone. So many things will come from now to August.
Right.
It is there he can know that yes, PDP is no more.
No, with due respect. You see, what this elder is saying sort of makes me wish that we should pray. And what is that prayer? Oh God, spare our life. You see, all those locations that they are running to, stimulating and trying to, speak to them to just move. Those places, PDP traditionally won them, and we did not win. In 2015, 2019, 2023. You see where their problem is that they are deceiving themselves that there are no problem. The far north. I can tell you, maybe he doesn't know. The last election, in all the urban northern areas, PDP won. They lost in all the urban. They made up their numbers by rural votes from the rural areas. You see those rural areas, that's where the poorest of the poor are. And that's where the crazy policies that they are doing and saying it's a global thing. It's not a global thing. You chose by yourself to devalue the currency and devalue our people into poverty. That was a stroke of the pen policy that is so irresponsible, no person will tolerate. You know why? Because it affects not just the work of the people, not just their salary, not just the cost of production. It affects even the savings. Therefore, they will pay for it in those locations. If it is the will of God Almighty, when we get to the next election, they will remember that the Buhari who used to help them get those numbers is sitting lukewarm. They will be reminded that the CPC aspect of it, since they are a people who like use and dump, they will pay for it. They will be reminded that people like Nasir El-Rufai, whom they like to say it doesn't matter, will matter so much. They will be reminded that people like Aregbesola, who does not matter to them, will matter so much. Do they even know how many of their members are just marking time? That people are afraid of your dictatorial tendency and using government institutions to harass them. And some of them are keeping quiet because they are cowards. And some of them are jumping ship because they are people of no character. Don't worry. In a couple of weeks' time, oh God, spare all our lives, we will come to that election. We will then ask them whether the 8.9 million votes he got, which are the worst of APC's previous election before Bola Tinubu, they usually got 15 million. He will now come and tell us whether it is the 8.9 million they allocated for us, plus the 6.1 million they allocated for Peter, that they are going to conjure by themselves. In the last election, finally, remember that 5 of our governors did not even work for the candidate. You had all your governors, you had 5 of our governors, all of it put together, 22 from you, 5 from us, 27 governors that you are making into special beings. They could only produce 8.9. Even the Okowa you are happy to get, take in. Other people will take that space because they couldn't even bring the vote. And please, with due respect, sir, let us, for the sake of the younger generation, let us not give the impression that this nation called Nigeria do not have honorable men. Men who can say, I'm here, I will stay here, I will work with it, I will repair it, we will move together. The day of the election, the voters are king. And those voters are the ones that himself and his Bola Tinubu group will go and face.
All right. Talk to me about this. Where is the opposition today? Because the disarray is quite obvious. The PDP, the Labour Party, the coalition talks. Where is the opposition to stand against this behemoth that is the APC that is only getting bigger and bigger by the day?
Then you must then ask yourself, Obasanjo was president, Yar'Adua was president, Jonathan was president, even Muhammadu Buhari was president. Have you ever seen at any time in the history of this country's present republic where suddenly the hands of Jacob and the voice of Esau, suddenly all parties are destabilized? If you are creating El Dorado, if the indicators are great, we could say, oh, they are interested in coming to contribute their quota to what you are doing. We are the ones even struggling. I am one of the ones struggling to insist that Nigerians don't lose faith in the country because of this incompetent lot. And people are jumping there. The opposition is always there. There has never been a policy of this government, with due respect to people, that you will not say Atiku Abubakar pen a point of view. You will not see me come and talk about it. You will not see Peter talk about it. What do you people think opposition is about?
Yeah, but
do you think?
The question is, your stock is plummeting. How then do you expect to pull off a miracle on election day in 2027?
I think you are insisting that the cult of human personality constitutes the entire electorate. That's wrong. They may be taking their likes. Gangsters like them. They can be carrying
Gangsters?
Can you stop? They can be carrying those ones who stand for nothing. The people of Nigeria who feel the pain of their policies are the electorate. When the chiefs are down, have you not observed, in spite of their machination, we have never had a primaries in the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria post-2023 with all of the things they do that has not been clean. And would always produce candidates. You're going to compare Asoego Dalo, our candidate in Edo, with theirs. They are a people of anyhowness. It is for the benefit of our Nigerianness and not to make the whole countries of the world look at Nigeria and say, oh, everything is lost. That's why sometimes we do a pushback and beg people not to be too angry with the country. But if anybody thinks we are not angry with Bola Tinubu and his government, that's a damn bloody lie. We are angry with them, Nigerians are angry with them, and they will pay at the right time.
But he obviously is very passionate about this one. Talk to me about what this movement represents for your own party's ideology. Obviously, you have the PDP orientation. The question is this, right? You have all these people who ideologically are not necessarily aligned with the progressive movement. They might be jumping the ship to survive whatever it is that they fear is going to happen in 2027. What is the downside to this movement in your view, or is there no downside to it?
Well, the question is this. You see, Otumba has said the issue of the economy, especially the Naira. No time President Bola Tinubu and the APC has refused to be corrected, especially if you suggest something that will help the economy to grow. And so many of us, for example myself, Otumba is a Yoruba man, Tinubu is a Yoruba man, we are thinking that there is going to be a lot of assistance because Tinubu is somebody who is an open-minded. Then the question now is, if you look at how things are going in the country, I am expecting Otumba will say, the APC has indulged into their party by sponsoring this Mr. A, Mr. B to go and destroy their party. I am expecting him to say that.
No, I won't say
Nothing
that.
like that. And then the MPP, Labour Party, all these things, you know, it is a self-inflicted wounds from the parties. You see, if you can agree with me, even when Buhari was coming in, during Jonathan, people boldly came and said, we are not going to support Jonathan due to the fact that this and this and this are happening. And people decided to opt out to make a new PDP, which brought about the success of Muhammadu Buhari. And now Tinubu is leading the country. No governor, no senator, no member house or otherwise are interested to leave. But others are leaving from their parties to APC. You see, you have to
Rufai left.
Look at it. Rufai, hold on. Look, Abdullahi. You see, the scenario is this. What brought APC to be a party is a collapsing of parties into APC, leaving their certificates of registration to come and join APC, not individual. Rufai is an individual, El Rufai. He's not a party. Rufai has Kaduna. Yes, he was a governor in Kaduna. And then I'm sure with the things on ground now, they are going to divide the states into two, maybe with Obasani, with him. So if he come to other states in the north, he cannot make any impact because we don't know him. So we don't know, yes. So the point in issue is, I believe you look at the political gladiators. You take a governor entirely of a state, and then you look at the situation of that area. Now Fabara has had a meeting with Tinubu, and then he said in supporting President.
And you call for support.
Look at it. The question is, I am sure after this conversation, Otumba may likely be with us because he is seeing it on the wall.
Right.
I am telling him
he's going to join the APC?
Oh yes, he's seeing it on the wall because the demarcation is very clear. Take the south, take the southeast. Take the northwest, take the northeast. You see, you bring them on a table to see the entire gladiators, the force of the parties are in APC, and many are going to join the APC as it is now.
Is there a part of you that is worried about our democracy, that thinks this is wrong? This is wrong.
Nobody is forcing anybody. I am in APC. I'm in APC.
You think the likes of Fubara is joining willingly?
Look at it. Hold on. Not Fubara. I'm mentioning only so many important people from his party. I am telling you. Look, Amin Wali told me. Amin Wali is an institution in Kano. He said there is no leadership in PDP. Nobody will start and waste his time. Where nobody will shout when something is happening. The Otumba, he should understand that Tinubu is not forcing anybody, neither APC. It is just a wind of change that is blowing. And if Otumba is not in a hurry to come and join, he will be left on the corridor of doing nothing. He will just lose himself in the political arena.
I don't know whether this is an invitation or a clarion call to you.
Listen.
But
every politician like them, they think only about the next election. Statesmen like me think about the bigger future. You see, I have seen situations where people will empty into one party. And I have seen it eventually lead to the implosion of that party. You have only but one governor who is a candidate. Maybe about 3 senators, 9 or so reps, and a few House Assembly. Do you know the number of people who will be contesting for just that one position? When you begin to think that this makes sense, of course it speaks to the democratic credentials of their leader, Bola Tinubu, and they themselves that are following him. I know that the democratic credentials of a proper, thoroughbred Democrat makes him understand that multi-party democracy needn't be fingered, manipulated this way. In any case, I have looked at the ballots from the last election, the over 25 million or so, when you put everything together. I haven't seen one that has a governor or a gladiator's name on it. What I have seen is the finger of one Nigeria. And if it is a free, fair, transparent, credible election, which we are now demanding and will be demanding forcefully, we will then see whether on the day of the election, their so-called gladiator will be able to stand when the people of Nigeria show up. They are hoping that people will not turn up. I have set up an alternative movement and I've been going around the country to tell the Nigerians there are 4 things that we're going to think about. 1, enough of this vote buying and vote selling, because it is making men that are eating at the table of the wicked to override us. 2, you must turn up on the day of election. Whatever your position may be, you have to turn up because it is our entire existence that is at stake. 3, enough of this Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo bickering. We must be looking at this election from the point of view of we, the Nigerians, versus our tormentors. And finally, I believe that we should all jointly now look for the best candidate. And then I've always been saying, let the best of us lead the rest of us. But if they think they are happy with what's going on, I wish them luck.
Where is the fate of the coalition, which is rumored to be either the third force or the biggest formidable political movement that may likely morph into what looks like the contender in 2027? Because right now it doesn't look like it's taking shape.
There are only 2 possible scenarios on the table. It's either the people are going to empty into the PDP, which is a stable party with cells all over the country, where even in his household, if I say PDP, somebody is going to answer me, power to the people, or they're going to register a new party. I do not see the tail wagging the dog. I do not see how you are going to literally be telling 12 governors so many senators, so many House of Assembly, councillors and all of that, of PDP, an institution that has been around since 1998, gave birth to him and so many others, loaned them to APC and so many others. I don't see how we can empty into a party that does not even have anything to offer. At best, what we will do, which I think really now is beginning to look like what the Waziri is trying to do, is to say, look, let us accept one fact. We cannot be splintered to face this wahala that is on the table. 2, let us come together and let us have the conversation and let us have the discussion. And now that discussion is going on, I am sure at some point in time, the matter will be rested. And the Nigerian people will see precisely who are the candidates, what do they bring, what is the idea that they are running, how do we go about it. And luckily, we have 2 years. But you know, if you look at them, they like to wear this their cap of different. I wonder how people with empty heads are wearing caps.
Right, Barrister, your quick reaction to what this coalition, the threat that this coalition posed to the APC. You have the likes of Atiku Abubakar trying to find a way to work with Peter Obi and other political figures on the other side of the aisle. How concerned are you that if they get their acts together, they could pose a political threat to you on election day? Because their votes combined, if we have to go by the data from 2023, means that they get to win the day.
Well, when you look of, when we are talking of coalition, it's an issue of interest. He has raised one important thing when he was talking about the CPC here and there. You can agree with me, some of the CPC members that are jittering or they are angry, maybe they have some issues with the EFCC and SCO.
Oh, I see.
So put that
Suddenly,
aside. Put that aside. It is an individualistic. But the most interesting thing is that coalition per se, Abdullahi, if somebody who has been renting in a house for 50 years, isn't it? Which you know we are from the same area. Maybe he is still riding the bicycle and then still renting there. Nothing has changed. So coalition mostly is an issue of interest. How do we grasp power? But for now, for Otumba, he's not a member of the coalition, I suppose. I know he said, as
power to the people.
Damagu has said, PDP will not change its identity. So we are talking of not issue of coalition, we are talking of PDP.
But the coalition talks are there.
Look at it. The question is, Abdullahi, we as Nigerians and talking Nigerians are listening to us. Coalition mostly is not individualistic. It is an issue of party to collapse into SDP, which for now we have 1.5 persons. One is El-Rufai completely in SDP. And 2, Atiku, he has reputed Atiku remain a member of PDP.
For now.
For now. Let's assume that. So, and then we cannot now go into coalition because the coalition is they are now looking for people to come, as Sule Lamido says, that look, El-Rufai, you say there is no elder in the north or in the country, and now you are looking for us to come and be with you. So you are.
So you're not worried.
No,
you're not worried about.
It's not even there. We cannot talk of something that not existing. One, you see, you are a renowned journalist, somebody who has not approached INEC, somebody who is going looking for people behind the house. Please come and help me. Somebody who is not a party. The party they are talking about is the SDP. You see, you don't do politics like that. SDP as a party, the certificate of the founders is Sule Lamido, Tinubu, Baba Gana Kingibe, and the rest. So we are now asking, as all politicians, why is the certificate of these people? You cannot say Tinubu, he was a member of SDP and he doesn't know anything about it.
Right.
So the issue, we are not talking of coalition. We are talking of a dead party, which is the PDP.
Yeah.
Last word. In 20 seconds, if you can respond.
I like a man who is building his castles in the sky. There are 93 million registered voters at the last count.
Right.
83 plus million have collected PVC. These people, APC and his friends, they are going to answer to them. Gombe, where he comes from, we beat them there the last time. So when they talk, never mind.
Presidential election.
Presidential, and we're going to still beat them again. Time will settle this matter. And I think that after those who want to decamp and those who want to run away, when they finally go, you will see the way the PDP will do a meeting and you will realize that, wow, are they still here? Right. We die not. We are a cat with 9 lives. Okay. We are the oldest political party in this republic, and we remain ever so well rooted with the grassroots. Look at them, jumping here, jumping there.
Otumba, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Otumba, Segun, Sowunmi, PDP Chieftain, and Barrister Abdullahi. Thank you so much for joining us. Interesting conversation with you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mesuna. Thank you very much.
Right, okay. Thank you so much for your time and company. That is all we have for you tonight on Daily Politics. Feel free to join us next week when we return live and exclusive on Trust TV at 8 p.m. Until next time, I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. Good evening.